You surprised that Australia played safe and delayed the declaration?
Well, I have two answers to that. It depends on what kind of an answer people want. I can answer a spicy one. I can want a very sober answer. But I would say, it's their territory. Let them decide, and it's up to them. When they really want to declare.
धोनी जी, पहले तो हिंदी में एक सेंटेंस, आपका स्वागत है मेलबर्न में और आशा करते हैं कि आप और अच्छा करेंगे। और एक प्रश्न हमारा ये है कि दिस पर्टिकुलर टेस्ट मैच वाज अ कंट्रास्ट बिटवीन सॉफ्ट डिसमिसल्स and hard talk, and I am referring specifically to Mr. Kohli, who did so well. What do you think? These contrasts, do they bring out the best in people?
Well, certainly it's good for the spectators. If you see what the spectators, apart from playing good cricket, loads of runs, sixes, fours and wickets, they love if the opposition, they are having a go at each other. But at the same time, as international cricketers, we know the boundaries, and certainly all the players should fall within the boundaries and should respect the privacy of the opposition players also. So till those guidelines are followed, I'm quite happy with it. But in this game, the temperature was high, as has been throughout this series. It was not only this test match. And as you rightly said, from both the sides, there were quite a few loose shots that were played. But overall, if you see, it was good cricket. 5 days of good cricket, apart from the fact that first innings, both the teams scored big, and still in the second innings, there was chance of a result. So overall, quite happy with the performance.
Captain, what was the reason behind promoting Rahul at number 3? And do you think Australia's decision to, delay the declaration was influenced by the way India have played, especially in Adelaide, the way we chased? Do you think it was influenced by that?
Well, to some extent, I would say that. The reason being, if you see Adelaide, it was a wicket that was assisting the spinners, and if we had a bit of partnership going, we lost a couple of quick wickets over there. If we had played the number of overs, the result would have been in our favor if we have not got all out. That's what it suggests, if you see from the outside. So that could have played on their minds. And Rahul, the decision was, the reason behind promoting Rahul was, he also is an opener, and also the fact we thought, there may come a situation where what really happened could happen, and then, Pujara is a better man to have at that point of time. And also at the same time, it gives us a chance to test Rahul, because he is a top order batsman. He was batting really well in the net sessions and everything. So we thought, he can also do well at number 5 or number 6. And we shouldn't really judge him on just one performance. He's someone, who looks very compact and who looks very good. And this is the new era of cricketers, where they want to play the shots to get out of pressure situations. So it can be taken as a positive. Also, he's somebody who loves playing his stroke. So overall, I was quite happy with his approach. It didn't pay in this game, but maybe, he's definitely someone for us to look, ahead into the future.
Skipper, when you shook hands and walked off the field, what was the emotion on the top of the mind, that you had drawn this test or that you had lost the series?
Well, there was one thing for sure. Before going into the test match even, we knew we couldn't really win this series. So that's something that we have to get terms with. This test match, as I said, once we went in, we wanted to win this test match. Then with the turn of tide and over 5 days of cricket, till we started batting today, it was quite a well-placed game, and it was difficult for us to be the winner by the time we started our batting. So from that point, and after losing a couple of early wickets and then Vijay getting out, we were definitely in a position where we could have lost this game. But overall, again, there was a partnership between Virat and Ajinkya, and I felt, after that we would accept the result of a draw as a fair result. The reason being, we were in a position of trouble, and from there to get out and get a draw is good enough, because definitely you don't really want to lose a test match.
MS, you just spoke about how India have found ways to put pressure on themselves, and in the presentation you're talking about a couple of rash shots that kind of like put more pressure on you. Pardon?
Loose shots.
Loose shots, yeah. So so as captain, like, how frustrating is it, and how do you deal with it? I mean, it's happened a few times this series.
Well, it has happened a few times, but not a lot of times. and also you have to see on wickets like these, at times what you may term as a loose shot can actually be the wicket to some extent misbehaving, or, people look to score runs. And if you see a lot of the Australian batsmen also, they got out because they were looking for runs, and it was slightly difficult. Even on the first day, it was not a wicket where the opposition, even us, scored over 320 or 330 runs. That has been the case in Australia. More often than not, you see more than 330 runs scored. We are one side that still play a bit of conservative cricket, test cricket, but still we get a lot of runs. So, it was a different wicket. We have to accept that. And quite a few, you may term it as loose shots, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to get out. So it all goes into the bank as a learning curve. And, hopefully, I don't really want more of these games, but if batsmen they face more of these games, they will be more experienced to deal in situations like these, where they won't really put pressure on themselves. And if a situation arises like this, they'll make sure that there's a partnership that goes on, and they just don't put pressure on the number 5, 6, and 7 batsmen.
MS, you always maintain that the spirit of cricket, according to you, is to not behave in a way that you won't want kids to see. Do you think that spirit has been upheld by both the teams?
Well, a lot of what has been spoken on the ground, I don't really know. I have just told my player, not to abuse anyone, because that's something that's definitely unacceptable. And, I'm behind the stump, so I don't really know what's happening between the runner and the mid-off fielder or something like that. So I also keep telling the umpire, if there's anything and if you feel, there's something wrong, please tell me, and, appropriately it will be handled. But at the same time, you don't want players to be like not speaking anything, just standing there and playing the game of cricket. So overall, I don't really know what's happening, but both the sides, they have handled it quite well, and till it stays on the field, it's fair enough.
Yeah, that was my question actually. Did the sledging get out of hand, do you think, at times?
Well,
and how did your players handle it?
I'll tell you, when you're so close to the boundary, at times, it's like how you play spinners. At time you step out and you play. So what we have felt is at times when continuous sledging is going on, at times you are very close to the boundary, and it happens from both the sides. But what's important is, as individuals and international cricketers and responsible cricketers, it's important that you don't cross the boundary, because once this chit-chat goes on, also what happens is you're batting, you're fielding, or you're bowling, that heat of the moment, at times you say something. So that's the time when the opposition, they have to neglect it, saying, okay, it's just the heat of moment, and he's not really mean something like that. And if that is done from both sides, you'll see peaceful but aggressive cricket over the period of time.
Were you relieved when Steve Smith shook your hand with 4 overs left and you didn't have to finish the game?
I was ready to play. I had played 14, 15 overs, another 4 overs. Maybe they were too tired to bowl 4 overs. That's a very Aussie answer I've given. Generally, I would have said, okay.
There's a couple, particularly with Kohli and Brad Haddon, just really heated moments where about this far between the two of them. Is it the sort of thing where we'll seek out Steve Smith and have a chat and say, these are the boundaries we need to establish to keep it a bit cooler than this test?
Well, it's something, again, as I said, that needs to be done from both the sides and at individual level also, because if you see a batsman is batting, the captain is inside, a bowler is bowling, okay, I'm the captain wicketkeeper, so I'm standing. By the time the bowler bowls and he's standing next to the batsman, he may say a few things, and I don't really will have control over that, because heat of the moment, he says something, it becomes more difficult to handle. But as I said, individually it can be handled. People or the players should be addressed that please don't cross the boundary. Play it in good spirit, and at the same time play it tough. Yes, you are representing your country. It's important to play it tough, but at the same time, it's important that depending on situation, one of the individuals will have to back off, whether it's from our side or from their side. So we should be following those norms. And if sledging goes on for 5 days, there will be a few moments that will get a bit heated, and there will be harsher words that will be explained. But till it's handled well by the individuals, I don't really see any problem.
Lost to Sai and Lily.
You have the choice of making the distinction between a specialist player and a generalist player. For example, Rahul vis-a-vis his role in the middle order. You have middle order batsman who's sitting there, most experienced, and Rohit in that sense has failed. So how we sort of identified Rahul's role going forward, or maybe going back to Suresh as an option, to give him that specialist job as a middle order batsman?
That definitely we'll have to sit and decide on that. One of the reasons why we were inclined towards Rahul was, the way he was batting in the net sessions and everything. He was looking very compact and very good. And, all three of them, if you see, they are batting well. So it was just a decision between the both of them, Suresh and Rahul, and thought maybe, we should give Rahul a go so that in the longer run we see where he stands. But again, we are not deciding on him just depending on this game. We'll have to give him more chances. But as I said, he's definitely someone who looks very good, and hopefully, it will reflect on the performances.
Thank you.